All right, see, that's how you're supposed to win a game against a team you should beat that is shorthanded and one of the worst teams in the NBA. No disrespect to the Grizzlies because they've actually been playing hard despite being without Ja, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, and Steven Adams, but come on now, this is a game in which you should put the team away early and give your starters some rest. And I feel like lately, when we have been seeing the Bulls go up against some of the worst teams in the league, like we saw more recently against the Spurs or the Hornets, or even in the last game against the Raptors, who are now rebuilding, they would let these teams hang around and play down to their competition. But tonight, I feel like we got our first comfortable, well-handled win. It wasn't a good start to the game. In fact, it was a really bad first quarter for both teams, and there was even a stretch where the Grizzlies went on a run after halftime and took the lead, and you thought, here we go again. The Bulls are going to take this one to the wire and make us sweat the whole way. But luckily, after that quick lead by the Grizzlies, the Bulls went on a 24-4 run and never really looked back after that. A needed win against a depleted team before they head out west for some tough matchups. A lot of great things to take away from this game, so let's talk about it. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Game Time. Now, if you've ever had the pleasure of going to a game in person, it's truly one of the best experiences you'll ever have as a fan. But sometimes the experience of buying tickets isn't the best. Are you getting a good deal? Are you not getting a good deal? Are the tickets legitimate? How do you know that you're not being scammed? Well, with Game Time, they take out the guesswork when it comes to buying tickets. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. So I recently used Game Time to take my wife and I to do a comedy show. We planned it super last minute, but really wanted to go out with a couple of friends. Went in the Game Time app 2 hours before the event and got an incredible deal on the tickets, well below any of the offerings on other platforms. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It really is the best place to find last minute deals. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets. With zone deals, you can pick a section where you want to sit, and Game Time will pick the seats for you for big time savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So again, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code BULLCENTRAL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code BULLCENTRAL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now, of course, no Zach Lavine in this one. As you probably saw, as first reported by Shams Charania, he'll miss between 1 to 2 weeks after spraining his ankle in the second half of that game against the Raptors, which is just really unfortunate, especially when Zach was finally starting to get his rhythm back, and also for the Bulls and his trade value as we near closer and closer to the deadline. But we'll put that aside for the moment. But with no Zach Lavine, this was a time for other guys to step up and take on more of the scoring front, with Zach being out instead of placing all of that burden on DeMar DeRozan. And so many guys showed up well tonight in Zach's absence. Very balanced scoring. Guys were distributing the ball well. You saw possessions where multiple players would get a touch with a quick release of a pass or a shot. The ball wasn't sticking in guys' hands. The effort was there. The energy was there. Again, I hate to be so cliche about it, but it was an all-around great team basketball effort, and you could see it in the body language of the players out there, having a good time, laughing with one another. Vibes were good, and as long as I'm continuing to see that and not a regression to what we saw at the start of the season, that's all I really care about. Talking about even distribution of scoring, shot attempts, touches, I mean, you had 7 players in double figures tonight for the Bulls. Very rare, considering Billy Donovan's rotations are very thin, with about 9 men deep. The production off the bench was great and really lifting the Bulls over the top and sparking this big run. The defense tonight was on point. Bulls were hounding the glass, getting second chance opportunities. They out-rebounded the Grizzlies 52-32. You know, one of the things we talked about recently, it was in that game against the Cavs, you know, the math problem, right? How it's very hard to beat your opponent and win on a consistent basis when your opponent gets considerable more possessions than you do and shot attempts. The Bulls, for a stretch, were giving up way too many offensive rebounds in their recent games. And you had teams that were shooting worse than they were from a percentage standpoint, but they were getting 10 to 15 more shots than the Bulls were. Tonight, the Bulls had 91 shots compared to the Grizzlies' 75. They shot 52% from the field. They hit more threes than the Grizzlies despite not taking as many. This, of course, against a Grizzlies team since losing John Bane have just been jacking up threes and have actually been hitting them at a decent rate. They're one of the better three-point shooting teams as a result of it. But tonight, the Grizzlies shot very poorly from three at just 31%, which speaks well to the Bulls' perimeter defense and staying after the Grizzlies from outside, since we knew that was really going to be their only avenue for offense when they're so shorthanded. Bulls, 32 assists tonight. Again, good things happen, and it usually leads to a win when they have 30 or more assists. 32 assists and only 11 turnovers. Bulls continue to be one of the best teams in the NBA in their overall turnover rate, and with those assist numbers going up, their assist to turnover ratio continues to get better as well. The other good things about tonight, how about the fact that because the Bulls took care of business in closing out the third quarter strong, Alex Caruso and Nikola Vucevic didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter, giving them some added rest. They both only played 25 minutes. Vucevic was efficient in his 25 minutes, 11 points on 5 for 8 shooting, 11 boards, and 3 assists. Alex Caruso still showing that stroke from 3, another couple of steals and a block, was plus 18 on the night. Coby White, he was left in the game a little longer than I would have liked. Same with DeMar, but I'll leave that be since neither of them got injured. But Coby, another guy in double figures, 17 points, 7 for 14 from the floor, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And then DeMar DeRozan, 18 points. Didn't have the most efficient shooting night, going 7 for 20, but he did contribute offensively with his playmaking, which we've seen him do more and more when Zach isn't in the lineup. 8 assists tonight for DeMar, leading the team in that category. And then Patrick Williams getting the start tonight with no Zach Lavine. Pat was solid. I mean, he struggled a little to start the game. Billy pulled him early because he was missing some closeouts and wasn't being as aggressive as he would like for him to be. But then Pat did finally start picking it up a bit and was showing more aggression. You know what I think has been good to see from Pat is his continued ability to hit the 3-ball more consistently, given how poorly he started the season shooting it from deep when he was around 20% or whatever it was, back up to his usual 41% now. And tonight he was 3 for 7 from 3, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. But the starters aside, I actually wanted to focus more on the bench tonight because it's rare to have 3 guys coming off the bench in double figures, and I've got to start with Ayo Dosunmu. You know, talking about who's going to be that next man up with Zach being out, that was Ayo tonight, who was phenomenal. 20 points off the bench, 7 for 10 from the floor, 3 for 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Was a team high plus 28 in this game. It was the hustle, the effort, being aggressive, playing off the ball and on the ball, high motor on both ends of the floor. I mean, when you have one of your 20-point per game scorers out of the lineup in Zach, to be able to have someone like Ayo come in who's averaging under 10 points per game and do all the little things the team needs him to do to help win is so key. What a bounce back season it's been for Ayo, and he's going to get more of these opportunities over the next couple of weeks with Zach Lavine being out. Oh, and how about Jevon Carter? You know, I mean, I know a lot of people have been going in on Jevon recently, saying he's been a big disappointment of a free agency signing, and while yes, some of that is true, give him credit that he stays ready no matter the circumstance. In the rotation, out of the rotation, getting 3 minutes like he did the other night against the Raptors. Tonight, he was contributing in meaningful ways. 12 points, 5 for 7 from the floor, hit a couple threes. Also 5 assists, which is rare for Carter, who really isn't known for his playmaking. And then, of course, Andre Drummond stepped up big time coming off the bench and bullying the younger, smaller Grizzlies. 15 points, 10 rebounds. Dude also had 4 steals in this one. Oh, and I shouldn't forget Dalen Terry either, who has continued to show signs of improvement now that he's finally getting some meaningful minutes. Played 18 minutes in this one, was a plus 17 in those minutes. 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Sometimes these guys just need to play. And for Terry, he's going to get more run in the rotation with guys being out of the lineup. So yes, a much needed win before a West Coast trip in which the Bulls will take on the Suns, Lakers, and Blazers in that order. So good for the Bulls to take care of business, get this win before taking on a Suns team that has been playing much better recently. Bulls only 2 games now, 2 games below 500. They're only 2 games back behind the Magic for 8th in the East and 4 games behind the 6th seed. If the Bulls can somehow avoid that play-in, that would be huge, but still a long ways to go before getting there. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this game. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.